Yeah. So hey guys, what's up? This is Subham Kumar Agrawal and welcome to my YouTube channel, that is the DO Chemistry. So today we are going to do translational partition function without 0 point energy. Alright, we have done the translational partition function with 0 point energy, and today we will going to find out the translational partition function without of the system having without 0 point energy. So first of all we need to focus over here. Please at least have a look over here. You will get to know that this is the system without 0 point energy. This is the system having without the 0 point energy, in which we have the energy of the ground state h square upon 8 ml square. Alright, here the energy of the ground state, that is n equals to 1 h square upon 8 ml square. So in order to get the ground state energy equals to 0, try to understand. Please listen carefully. If you want to get the energy of the ground state 0, what you have to do? You have to subtract by h square upon 8 ml square from each of the energy term, so that you will get the energy of the ground state as 0. So that you will be going to get the energy of the ground state as 0. So what is that? What I have done here? So try to look at here. So here without 0 point energy, look here, this is n equals to 1 and this is n equals to 1. So what we have just done, subtraction of h square upon 8 ml square, so that we get energy of 0, and subsequently we had find out the energies of each of the levels as n equals to 3, n equals to 2, 3 and 4 and so on. Alright, so we can find out the energies of all the energy states just by subtracting the h square upon 8 ml square from each of the terms having the energies with 0 point energies, having the system having without 0 point energies. So we had reached here, and for this system we had to find out the partition function, translational partition function. For this system we have to find out the translational partition function. So let's move over it. First of all, we know that for the nth translational quantum number, or say for the nth state, we have the formula of the energy as here. We have the formula of the energy as n square h square upon 8 ml square. So if we have to find out the same energy system, so if we have to find out the same energy system for yes, so if we have to find out the same energy for this system, for the system having without 0 point energy, so what we need to do, we had just made a generalized expression of this, that is the n square minus 1. We have to just subtract 1 from the this energy n square h square upon 8 ml square, so we get n square minus 1 h square upon 8 ml square. This is the finalized expression that you get for the system having without 0 point energy. Alright, okay, so we know the formula for the partition function qt. What we know that the qt has this one. Alright, so what we had calculated the partition function for the translational partition function for the system having having 0 point energy, we had reached at here. Alright, because we had taken the degeneracy equals to 1 and the remained factor was there. It was there as exponential raised to the power minus beta epsilon n, or say en, energy of the nth state. But here epsilon n we had taken the constant. If you remembered, then there we had taken the epsilon as sorry. we had taken, this is the energy, sorry, my mistake, this is the energy, and this is the energy. All right, and for this system, this En will be n square minus 1 and h square upon 8 ml square. So what we are going to do, we are going to take h square upon 8 ml square as constant, that is epsilon. So here we had put n square minus 1 and rest value we had put a constant, that is epsilon. Are you get it? So what I had done here, as I had put the value of the En, n square minus n, and rest of the values I had put a constant for that value, and that is the epsilon. So here you get it. All right, since n is very less, n is very greater than 1, since n is very large, as I had told you that for N2 molecule it is 10 raised to the power 11. N is very large. If n is very large, n square minus 1 will be nearly equals to n square. N square minus 1 will be nearly equal to the n square. So this is what we have done. We had just removed 1 minus 1 because n is very high. So what is this? This is the translational partition function for the system having 0 point energy. So we got no difference in the partition function of the system having 0 point energy or the system having without the 0 point energy. We got the same expression for both of them. So we can here conclude that Qt for 3D as V upon lambda cube. So this is same. This is quite same. Here I have written as well that Qt 3D for with 0 point energy as well as for without 0 point energy, we got the same value, same expression, that is the V upon lambda cube. All right. Okay. So now we have okay. So we had read about the lambda, that is the thermal de Broglie wavelength. So let's have a brief discussion over it. So what actually the thermal de Broglie wavelength is, I will correlate it with the real lambda, real wavelength. Alright, so try to understand, listen careful. What is written here, it is roughly the average de Broglie wavelength of the gas particles in an ideal gas at a specific temperature. Read twice. It is roughly the average de Broglie wavelength. What is the de Broglie wavelength? De Broglie wavelength is equals to lambda equals to h upon p. What it is given by the de Broglie. By combining both the particle and wave nature, we got this equation. So this is the de Broglie wavelength. So it is roughly average de Broglie wavelength of the gas particles. First you have to understand the gas particles are behaving as a wave. First you need to tell yourself that the gas particles are behaving as a wave and wave. All right, so gas particles are behaving ideally and those gas particles are waves. So at any temperature, the thermal de Broglie wavelength is almost a average de Broglie wavelength, almost a roughly de Broglie wavelength. So almost a roughly de Broglie wavelength, it is h upon p. But what we have calculated as lambda equals to h upon 2 pi m kBt. So we know that the kinetic energy of the gas molecules is kBt. Kinetic energy is kBt, and here we know that the momentum has root 2 mk. All right. So are you getting this? I am assuming here that you have done the basic concepts of the gaseous states in your previous classes. Alright, so this came from there. Also we used to study it in the spectroscopy, physical spectroscopy. But I here assuming that you have all done all these concepts, basic concepts in your gaseous states. Alright, okay. So this is kBt is the average kinetic energy. So here what lambda equals to h upon root 2 pi m k. K represents kinetic energy. All right. So here if we see the difference between these two lambdas, these two lambdas is only having a factor of pi in the denominator inside of the root. Inside of the root we have a pi factor. Here it is not there, here it is there. Difference is only a pi factor. That is why we are saying it is roughly same as the average de Broglie wavelength. Alright, it is same exactly as the de Broglie wavelength. That's all it is suggesting, that as the light behaves as a wave. Alright, so wave as well as particle. So this expression has been given for the light. So average wavelength or the wavelength for the light is corresponding. It is corresponding or roughly same for the particles, gas particles in the inside of the container. We had just proved it. Try to understand the depth of it. How at how much we had till how much we had gone. Alright, so what we had done so far is that the wavelength of the normal light is corresponds or say roughly same as the wavelength of the gas particles which are present inside of the container under which we are working, which is a part of our system. Alright, all the things are clear? Okay, if you have any queries, if you are stuck in any of the concept, then I have a humble request to you all people. Please write the question or write the doubt in the comment box, so that I will answer there and you will get clarity about it. Alright, okay, now moving onwards. So yes, this is the basic formula that I had written here. So if you found that you have a need to write it, then definitely write it down in your notebook, otherwise skip it. So now let's recenter ourselves. What we are doing, we were doing the translational partition function. Alright, having the system without 0 point energy or for the system having 0 point energy. For both the system we had found our partition function same. Alright, so now here what has given to us, that if for the system having n particles, system is like a cube or say a container having n particles and having volume v. Alright, so what you need to just suppose all the particles in the container, are separated by the distance d. All the particles are separated by themselves by the distance d. So that you will get the volume of the each and every particle, or say for the let's assume for one particle, the volume of the one particle will be the distance. If the distance between the particles is d, then the length, breadth and height. Alright, so 1d for length, 1d for breadth and 1d for height, and you will get the volume d cube. You get the volume of one particle as d cube. Alright, so this is the if these are the particles, then two particles having the distance d. Alright, so each and every corresponding and consecutive molecules or particles having the distance d among them or say between them. Alright, now we had find it out that the volume of the one particle is d cube. Alright, so for the n particles it will be nd cube. For the n particles it will be nd cube. V is equals to nd cube. Alright, volume of n particles in the container will be nd cube. Yes, so you need to just write it in your notebook, or say just listen carefully. What I am saying is, system in the system or say in the container, there are n number of particles are there. So we are not assuming the particles as spherical. Try to understand, we are not assuming the particles as spherical. That is why we had not taken the volume of the each particle as 4/3 pi r cube. We didn't take this formula because we are not assuming the particle as spherical. we are just assuming that the average distance what the particle is traveling is d, and it is in the all the three axes. It is d distance in the x-axis, d distance in the y-axis, and d distance in the z-axis. And that's why in the collective manner, in the collective basis, what we have taken, we have just taken the volume of that particular particle, and that volume is the d cube. That volume is d cube. So the volume of the n particles now becomes nd cube. Volume of the n particles will now become nd cube. Alright. Now there we have two cases. Now we have two cases. Case number one, where lambda is far more less than d. Where lambda is far more less than d, it means the wavelength of those particles, or say wavelength of those particles, is very less than d. The lambda is thermal de Broglie wavelength. Lambda is thermal de Broglie wavelength, which is actually the wavelength of the gas molecule or the gas particles. Alright, so if the wavelength is very less than, the separation between the particles, the separation between the atoms, if the wavelength is very less than the separation between the atoms, then the particles will be distinguishable, because all the particles will now come under the wavelength of the wave. So all particles will now be distinguishable, and we know that distinguishable particles, we follow classical statistical thermodynamics. Classical statistical thermodynamics, what is in this classical? It is MB. MB means Maxwell-Boltzmann statistics. And so what we had calculated the translational partition function for the MB means Maxwell-Boltzmann statistics. So this system is for having the lambda far more greater than d, having the system lambda far more greater than far more less than, here I had written wrong, it is less than, lambda is very less than, that's why particles are distinguishable. Alright, so this is for the system. So we have just put the value of the v for the container having n particles, v for the container having n particles. It becomes now nd cube, and lambda cube is remain intact. So now qt equals to n, and taken d by lambda and whole cube as whole. So since lambda is far more less than d, so qt upon n, and we had taken in the downside, or say denominator, is far more greater than, because d by lambda will becomes greater than 1, so qt by n will also be greater than 1. Partition function of the translational for the translation by dividing by the total number of particles will always be greater than 1, So it is for example, if we take the example, it is valid for the molecules of gases at room temperature. Normally the molecules of gases at room temperature behaves like this system, and for this system we have qt by n greater than 1. Alright, now if lambda, now case number 2, if lambda is greater than d, means the distance between the particles is very less than the wavelength, then those particles cannot be distinguished. Please try to imagine what actually I am saying. Alright, please try to imagine it, that the particles are in such a way that distance between the particles is very less than the wavelength. Those wave will not going to distinguish each and every particles. That's why we say that these particles are indistinguishable. That's why we usually say at there that these particles are indistinguishable, and the statics we apply, we study for the particles which are indistinguishable is known as the quantum statistics. And in quantum statistics we have the two type of particles, that is for the photons and for the other one for the electrons, protons. So for the electrons, photons, we have Fermi-Dirac statistics, and for the photons and alpha particles like molecules we have Bose-Einstein statistics. Alright, so this is all for the we have done the translational partition function. We have done with the translational partition function. Now what we will have the rotational, partition function. All right, so I hope all the things are clear that I had taught to you. So this is the rotational partition function that in the next video we will be going to start, and we'll cover all the concepts regarding it. So till then, see you, have a good day, bye bye.